Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into a genuinely chilling sequence of events captured entirely by something most of us keep right next to our heads every single night, a standard smart health app. This is a story about the unseen data our devices log while we're completely vulnerable. It's a slow-burn psychological horror narrative that is definitely going to make you look at your smartphone a little differently tonight. Let's get into it.
Picture this. It's exactly 2:10 a.m. on a Sunday, August 23rd to be specific. You know that feeling when you wake up feeling completely exhausted? Your chest feels incredibly heavy, your throat is just bone dry, and the room is dead silent? In that groggy, disoriented, middle-of-the-night state, the subject of our source material reaches over to the nightstand, grabs their phone, and opens their smart health tracking app just to check their sleep cycles.
Section 1. The Sleep App Anomaly. Data in the dark. So, what starts as a completely normal, mundane tech routine, just checking health metrics in the dark, rapidly spirals into a deeply claustrophobic nightmare.
At first glance, everything actually appears totally fine. The phone screen lights up, and the app displays this really familiar, highly detailed line graph. It maps out the REM and deep sleep stages exactly as you'd expect, showing a completely normal, healthy descent into unconsciousness. Honestly, if you stopped looking right here, you'd think it was just another quiet, restful night.
But man, the narrative completely flips when you scroll down to the timeline below that sleep graph. The audio recording section, which, is the part meant to automatically save clips of snoring or sleep talking, reveals this absolutely terrifying pattern. Just look at the data. Between midnight and 2 a.m., the app logged continuous high-decibel audio spikes. And these weren't just random background noise. They were hitting like clockwork every 5 minutes. There was loud, unseen activity happening in that room while the subject was completely oblivious and asleep.
That brings us to Section 2. High decibel spikes. Hidden noises. The data clearly shows us something was happening, right? But to understand what it actually was, the subject had to listen to those logs. We're crossing over from clinical data to a very physical, unsettling reality hidden inside those spikes.
So, they plug in their earphones and click on the very first audio file, timestamped at 12:15 a.m. Through the digital static, the first thing they hear is just their own slow, steady breathing, deep sleep. But then, layered right over that breathing, there's this distinct rustling sound playing right near the phone's microphone. And worse, it's followed by a low, dry, scraping noise coming from directly next to the bed. Something physical was moving right beside them.
The tension just shatters in the next recording. The subject plays the file timestamped at 1 a.m. First, you hear a faint metallic clicking sound. Then, cutting straight through the silence of the recording, a heavy, raspy voice whispers directly into the phone's microphone. It actually says, "He is finally in deep sleep. Turn the light on."
Section 3. Live monitoring feed. A present threat. Now, let's see how this builds from a creepy past recording of something that already happened into an immediate, real-time nightmare.
Imagine the visceral panic taking hold of you right at this moment. Heart pounding against their ribs, the subject sits bolt upright in the pitch-black room. They're peering into the shadows near the corner of the wall, thumbs shaking, frantically refreshing the app to see if it's still picking up audio. When the screen reloads, they are hit with this stark, undeniable realization. A flashing red indicator at the very top of the screen. It says, "Live audio monitoring active." The app is currently recording.
And this brilliantly illustrates the immediate horror here. The subject presses play on that live feed. Through their earphones, they can hear their own panicked, real-time shallow breathing. But mixed right in with it is a second set of wet, ragged breaths. And because of the spatial audio, one thing becomes terrifyingly clear. The sound isn't coming from across the room. It is coming from directly above their head.
Section 4. The Ceiling Fan. A Waking Nightmare. This is the crucial point where the app's technology suddenly shifts from being a passive data logger to an unwanted, real-time narrator of the horror unfolding in the room.
As the subject sits there, paralyzed with fear, just staring down at the floor, the app suddenly pushes a notification. It's an auto-generated text transcript of the live audio feed. The app is actually attempting to transcribe whatever is whispering in the room right now, and the text pops up in this cold, robotic transcription. Subject is looking at the floor. Subject needs to look up at the ceiling fan. It's a chilling, highly specific instruction, directed right at them in real time.
Following that terrifying prompt, the subject slowly, agonizingly tilts their head upward into the pitch-black space above the bed. And there, hidden in the shadows,
they are met with the source of the ragged breathing and the whispering voice. Two pale, unblinking eyes staring right down at them from the corner of the ceiling.
So, the ultimate lesson derived from this harrowing log is a simple, terrifying rule about how we interact with our nighttime tech. We trust these apps to passively monitor our health, right? But they're also logging unseen data and capturing an environment we're completely oblivious to while we're unconscious. If your phone logs strange sounds while you sleep, it warrants extreme caution. And the absolute golden rule from our source material: never ever listen to the recordings in the dark.
Which leaves us with a question you might want to ask yourself tonight, right before you set your alarm, close your eyes, and drift into deep sleep. Your phone is listening. What is it recording right now while you sleep? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and sleep well.